Morning, Chelsea fans. Chels Daft here early this morning. Got to get this done before I start work, because I do work full time as well as doing these videos. But I saw reports yesterday after I'd already planned my video that went out last night. If you've missed that one, make sure you check it out. But I'd already planned the content, and I saw these reports regarding Declan Rice, regarding N'Golo Kante again, and this time regarding Jorginho. And it's something to discuss, because I think that the way we're going to change this season will predominantly evolve into a 4-2-3-1. We will play the 4-3-3 at some occasions, but I think it's mainly going to be focused on 4-2-3-1. And we need to just discuss on where people fit in that formation. I touched on it a little bit last night in my video regarding Ross Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. But today it's those three. Let's start discussing this in detail. Let's get cracking. So thank you guys as always for tuning in and for taking the time to watch this video. As I say, I work full time. I try to build this channel into something that hopefully you guys enjoy and you enjoy the content. And the main thing is that you watch this and sort of try to get you thinking, that you post your comments in the comments section below. And today's video is, as I say, it's about those three. And it's a weird situation really, because if you look at the premise or the idea that you're looking at two players for each position, then Chelsea are overloaded in midfield, depending on how you want to play. If you want to go with a 4-3-3, obviously you need a 6 midfielders, which works because you'll have Kante, Kovacic, Jorginho, Havertz, Mount, and then you've got a choice between Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Billy Gilmour, obviously he's injured now, but you wouldn't say that he's a first team regular starter currently. We'll probably see him, once he's back fit, evolve into playing first team football in the cup competitions maybe, but for now you just have to put him to one side. So when you play with the 3-man midfield, then you'd say you got one defensive midfielder and you got 2 box to box, and that suits the likes of Kovacic, it suits the likes of Loftus-Cheek. When you're looking for creators as part of that midfield 3, you'll look at Jorginho obviously, and to a point Ross Barkley. The defensive side of it though, you're looking at N'Golo Kante. That's it. That was why I was surprised that Chelsea let Ampadu go, because I thought Ampadu would be the perfect foil for Kante to play as his backup and to give him that exposure in that role in the Premier League. But Frank and Chelsea saw it different. He's gone to Sheffield United, and good luck to him, because I think he'll have an impact there, hopefully. But if you think about Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and the way they're playing and the formations and where you can get the best out of those two, it's clear it's in the 4-2-3-1 position as a number 10. Or one of them, well, we say one of them playing wide, but let's be honest, when they played wide, and Havertz played wide against Brighton, he couldn't get involved, and Mason Mount found it difficult against Lamptey. And it's just, I just think that the way that the squad's coming together and the individual qualities of our best players, I think we're heading to 4-2-3-1. And I think that's what's probably influencing this chase for Declan Rice. Now, we all know Declan Rice can play centre-back, he can play centre midfield. Now, I've been watching a lot of Declan Rice, I have to say. I'm looking at some of these compilation videos, even the England game the other week. His desire to win tackles is excellent. And the amount of tackles that he wins, where it looks as though he's out of position, someone's got past him, he can't get back there and make the challenge. And he does. He somehow or other he gets round and he makes important challenges. And I think that's swaying Frank Lampard's opinion of Declan Rice. We all saw reports earlier in the window that Frank had seen him as a potential world-class centre-back, and he may be later down the line. But I think it's what he can give you in the middle of midfield defensively that is sort of swaying Frank into seeing him as a defensive midfielder. And Chelsea seriously lack a second option as the defensive midfielder. I don't think Kovacic does the best that he can. He works so hard. He's box to box. He's everywhere. He does a good job, but he's not ideal at being that position. Jorginho's got better last season than he was the season before under Sarri, but he's still not great as a defensive midfielder. You would then say the rest of the midfield options, Havertz, Mount, Loftus-Cheek and Barkley, are not defensive. So if we lose N'Golo Kante for extended periods of time, over the season we're in trouble. These reports talking about Kante going, and Inter Milan are continuously looking at Kante, I just don't believe it. I don't see it. Why on earth would you want to get rid of someone who's the best in the world at what he does, and was for a sustained period of time of 3-4 seasons? And we all hope, fingers crossed, he'll get back to being that, and I sincerely believe that he will. If you want to manage a title challenge, you've got to keep your best players. You've got to keep N'Golo Kante. So any talk of Kante leaving is not happening. It's not happening. Ignore it. Frank has spoken numerous times about N'Golo Kante and what he offers and what he brings to the table. You build the midfield around Kante. Simple as that. Whether it's a 4-3-3 with him sitting in the middle, or it's a 4-2-3-1 and him being part of a 2, Kante is there, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet. He's got to be. So that's why there's this talk now about Jorginho, and for months and months it looked as though Jorginho was heading to Juve with Maurizio Sarri. Sarri's time at Juve went tits up, he got sacked, and it's all fell apart. Now for weeks we kept seeing Jorginho's agent coming out and talking of interest from Italy. He'd love to go back to Italy. It would be an honour to play for Juve, blah blah blah. And as a result, when the Premier League restarted for those few weeks to get the season done, Jorginho found himself sat in the stand, not involved. Even though his name is a sub, he wasn't involved. And the only time he was is when at Crystal Palace we literally had no other option and he had to come on. And to his credit, he did well. He did okay. So, but you look at how Jorginho would fit into the 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1. And I sincerely believe, and it's no disrespect to the guy, because his ability with the ball at his feet is outstanding. And if you want someone, if you can carry somebody in midfield with no defensive responsibility, so say for example, you play a 3-man midfield, but you play 2 holding and 1 just sitting, and with just the license to create, not worry about defending, he's perfect for you, because his use of the ball, his technical ability is outstanding. But the modern day and the modern game in the Premier League, the demands are that you can work as hard off the ball as what you do with it, and that's the problem. And Jorginho doesn't offer you the defensive attributes that somebody like Declan Rice would. So there keeps being this talk about Chelsea's money they've spent and they need to offload players. They don't need to offload players to balance the books. They need to offload players because they've got excess. And this is why you keep seeing reports about Chelsea are trying to get a player moved. They don't want a loan deal. They want to try and get a permanent deal done first. Or if it has to be a loan, with an agreement to sign at the end of the loan, for example, like Morata at Atletico Madrid. And I can see Jorginho going, and there's talk he might go to Arsenal. If I'm honest with you, you look at Arsenal, look at their midfielders, how many defensive, actually naturally gifted defensive midfielders have they got? One of them, Guendouzi, and he's not even involved. So they can have Jorginho, not a problem. Because you know that if you can pin him down in the middle of midfield, which is what teams did probably after the first 10, 12 games of the Premier League season under Sarri, you pin Jorginho down, you put somebody on him and he struggles, and we struggled as a result. So I just think the modern game, the demands of the modern player, and what Frank Lampard's looking to do, which is pretty much moving to a 4-2-3-1 rather than a 4-3-3, with the 2 midfielders that can defend in front of the back 4, I think that's why Declan Rice is a major target for Chelsea and Frank, because he provides cover at the back as well, don't forget, which then allows the likes of Mason Mount and Kai Havertz to play as a number 10. So I can see Jorginho going, Kante staying, and if Jorginho goes and somebody else like Barkley for money, Bakayoko, Emerson, the people that you just know are now on the fringes of the first team squad that Chelsea are looking to move on, then I think Chelsea will go in and offer something like 65 million for Declan Rice. That's what I think on this whole situation about the formation, about N'Golo Kante, about Jorginho and about Declan Rice. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think about anything that I've discussed in the video, any points that I've made in the comment section below. Smash that like button for me, and if you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel to make sure you get notified when my videos come out by pushing that button. Thank you so much for your time and for watching. Have a good Friday. See you next time.